So, Mr. Finney, it's very much. I'd like for you to record in your own words, like you did in the letter that you sent me, your experiences in the Second World War, but focusing on the episode of the Arandora Star. So, could you give me a brief description of how you got onto the Arandora Star, in the sense of where you were stationed before in France, and then coming back to England, then Birmingham, leading up to that episode, please?
Well, the first experience with internees was at Birmingham, and after being there for a few weeks, they closed the camp, and we had to move somewhere else to pick up in Liverpool, another job on internees. And when we got to the ship, we couldn't see anybody on. They'd already got settled in it, and of course we were put on, and we set sail about late afternoon, and we were given our cabins where we got to sleep and everything, and for a few hours we just were messing about, organising things, our kit bags and everything. And I was given a job on duty on the corridors of one of the parts of the ship, you know. Couldn't tell you what it was called. And I went on duty at 2 o'clock in the morning. Should have come up at 4. Well, throughout the night I never saw a soul in the corridor of the ship or coming down the steps, anything. And all of a sudden there's this large explosion, which at first I thought it's probably engine trouble, because with it being at the other end of the ship, it didn't sound so. Anyway, I soon realised it wasn't, when from along the corridor and from down the steps there's a load of internees of all nationalities shaking me and asking me where were the lifebelts. Well, I couldn't tell them because I didn't even know about mine. I just saw it on the wall and put it on. And anyway, I decided to leave my post and get on deck. And I asked some of the internees to follow me, like. Some of them did follow, and also a mate of mine. And we come to this wire fencing. It was about 3 metres high. And I thought, well, I've got to get up here. I run up. How I did it, I don't know, because I was that tired as well with being overdue on the relief from duty. And I dropped down the other side, and as I got down to the other side, the lifeboat was being lowered, and I thought, oh, I'll get on the next one, because it was absolutely packed. Well, before I could do any more, all the ironwork of letting this other boat down crashed on top of them, and you can see all the bodies lying underneath the water there. So I carried on somewhere further up for another boat, and for some reason or other I got one. I don't know how, or can't remember how I got in and that, because if I'd have dropped in the sea I'd have gone, because I can't swim at all. Anyway, we settled down into this boat, and it was pretty quiet in there, and we got as far away from the ship as we could before it sank, and the sea started to get rough, and I thought, well, if we've got to get in the water, I'm getting rid of these bullets, you know, across here, and my rifle, and I dropped them in the sea. Of course, everybody was relieved as well on the ship, and after another hour or so, a plane flew over, and I thought, well, there's some hope. And it only seemed about 2 hours before this Canadian destroyer came and started picking us up. By that time, as we approached the ship with the boats, the boats are going like this. And when we got to the ship, we had to wait till the wave come and we were almost level with the ship to get off. And that's how we managed to get out of the lifeboat. The sea was that rough, and the people on the ship, they provided with some hot tea and something to eat, and after that I can't remember, because same as I say, I was that tired, I probably went to sleep. When we were sitting in the lifeboat, we saw this ship, you know, go tipping. It was crowded, the deck was. What interested me was going up to Scotland. What's it called? I forget. I wrote it down somewhere. Up the Clyde, is it? The countryside and that. I looked seeing it, you know, and I was still dead beat for sleep. But that took me interest until we got right up to Greenock or Greenock or something.
The Arandora Star was a former luxury cruise liner.
Yes, yeah.
She sailed the Mediterranean, the Norwegian fjords. I mean, she was Blue Star line. She was requisitioned by the Admiralty and turned into an armed merchant cruiser.
Yeah.
Did you see any evidence of this in terms of the colour? What colour the ship was painted?
No. At Liverpool they just rushed us on and that was it. And as regards the other part, we never saw the ship at all, only where they put us and where I was on guard. Never saw any more.
So you didn't see the armaments that the ship carried?
No.
The two guns that were bolted on the
No,
front of the ship? But you describe a wire netting on the ship. What was the wire netting for?
I was wondering whether it was to stop any of the internees getting in the other part of the ship, or something like that. That's the only thing I can put you down to.
Was it on the open deck?
Yes,
the wire netting,
yes,
right?
It was across like that.
So it split the ship in two?
Yes.
Oh, I see. So you reached this wire netting, and without crossing this wire netting, you would have...
I would have gone, well, I'd have to gone inside and try to find a way to that to the other side of it.
Oh, I see.
And I didn't wait for that, I just run up this wire, and I thought I broke a leg because I almost dropped the other side.
So it was 3 metres tall, you said?
Yes, yeah, about 3 metres.
Oh, I see. So this wire separated the ship in two. Maybe it separated the Germans from the Italians from the Austrians.
Probably, yes.
Okay, and without crossing that wire, you would have gone down with the ship.
Yes.
So if that's the case for you, it would have been a case for many other people as well then.
Well, some of these,
as your friend,
I told them to follow me, and some of them did the same thing. And in fact, they were on the same boat as me. There was one German on the boat. He was trying to get an engine go on it, you know, and the waters. I think they were quiet because I'd still got this ammunition, you know. But it was all right.
Was there any because I read the newspapers during that week. The Times reported that the reason there was such high loss of life was that there was infighting between the Germans and the Italian...
Yes, I never saw any of that. It may have been the other side of the ship where the lifeboats had been lowered, because that's where the damage was as well. So everybody be more anxious to get off with, you know, any condition.
But from what you saw, you didn't see any infighting?
No.
There? Okay, and in terms of like health and safety on the ship, I mean, you were given a life jacket, or you were instructed where your life jacket was.
Yes, it's hanging up on just opposite me in that corridor.
But then I suppose when the internees realised that the ship was going to go down, who was in charge of lowering the actual lifeboats then? Was there
the crew mostly, the crew.
And
some were giving hand, some of the soldiers as well, giving hand for lowering the ships. But that one that was absolutely packed with people, all soldiers and Germans, Italians, and then all this ironwork fell on top.
Right, okay. It must have been dreadful.
Yeah. it was a relief for me because I was going to step on it myself.
At what point did you know that you were going to guard these internees and take them to Canada? Were you given that information before you boarded the ship?
Yes, yes. And I was at second run on guard, I think, because it started earlier, and I was on from 2 till 4. Well, it was getting on for 5 o'clock and nobody had come to relieve me. I could have been in bed when it happened, if they had relieved me on the proper time.
Did you see, I mean, the ship was sailing through what effectively was a war zone, that stretch of water.
Yeah.
Was the ship marked in any way to inform a captain of a U-boat that this was carrying, I suppose, their own kind?
No, I don't think there was no escort or nothing like that. And I don't think it was reported.
So this ship set sail from Liverpool without escort, not in convoy. It was a solitary ship.
Yes, yes.
Oh right, I thought.
No, I didn't see any ships around. I think it took a couple of hours for this Canadian destroyer to pick us up.
How do you feel about being put in a position like that on a ship that wasn't in convoy and also?
Well, at the time it didn't bother me because, say, I was on duty and hadn't settled down on it really proper. And then with being tired, I was anywhere, couldn't think.
Orders.
It was part of your job, part of your work in the army.
It's like an order, isn't it? You're supposed to just
That's
follow
what you've
orders.
got to do.
I mean, with not seeing anybody as well, it felt ever so queer, But when all these people come down the stairs and along the corridor and going like this to me, and I said, well, I'm sorry I can't help you, but this has been given to me when I come on duty.
Were they speaking to you in English then?
Yes, they sounded more like English people than what they were. I had two little Welsh chaps with me. They weren't young, and they used to call me Joe. They said, "Think there's any torpedoes there, Joe?" I said, "Yeah, you'll have to look out. There's some tin fish along there, some tin fish." And I wasn't making it was right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I said, "You might find some tin fish." He said, "Is that right, Joe?" I said, "Yeah." "Yes, are you sure?"
Goodness me.
But I felt sorry for them because I couldn't see them surviving. And then there's one thing about it that I never like to tell anybody. We were all in these boats all round, and a chap was shouting, "Anybody got a cork? This boat's leaking." And it was on my mates from Longton up. It's about 5 miles from here. That was another mate of mine. We'd been all together like. Yeah, anybody got a cork? We said we got a leak.
Does he mean on the main ship?
No, he was in the lifeboat.
Oh, he meant in
We're
the
same as
lifeboat.
us. But he shouted ever so loud. I don't know how he picked it up.
Yeah.
But,
Did he survive?
Yes. But
Do you think there was enough lifeboats for the amount of men on the ship?
it seemed to be about 9 as I saw, as I could count. I was still trying to get asleep, And the others would be the other side, wouldn't they? Because they had both sides of the ship. I wouldn't see how many there was there. But I was pleased to see this aeroplane because I knew there was out there. The sea was getting rough all the time then after that. And I was really, I thought, well, if I'm going down, I'll take this weight up here. See if I can float.
Oh, sure.
This German tried to get the engine go. I thought, so well, it won't take it very far if it goes. The engine in the lifeboat. Tried to get it work.
So you had a little petrol engine then?
Yeah.
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay. Then.
The silence come when we were all watching the ship, you know, just tip up and gone.
Did it take long for it to...
I should think it'd take about 15 minutes.
So from the time that you was in the lifeboat, it took
Yes.
15 minutes more?
We'd got to get as far away as possible from the ship before it went down.
What was the mood like afterwards in the lifeboat?
There was no talking, it was, you know, all sadness. Everybody.
See, I thought that the Arandora Star had set sail with an escort. I didn't realise it had, unless I'm getting confused with the Ettrick.
Never saw anybody. Because if there had been an escort, it had been within us, to us in half an hour, wouldn't it? But this this Canadian liner, battleship, took 2 or 3 hours.
And it just came to rescue you. It didn't give you an escort, or...
No, he come to rescue us. This plane must have got in contact with it. The plane has flew over.
So what happened when you arrived in Greenock then? What happened to you? Was you
Well,
fit and healthy then or did you need hospital treatment?
No, I was all right. But most of the people weren't fully dressed because they'd all jumped out of bed to get away. Somebody got no shoes on. Walking along this row of cottages and people were coming out with cups of tea and everything. Then we come to this large warehouse, and from then on we were split up, and then we were taken to the other side, Edinburgh it was, 5 miles from Edinburgh to the Scotch regiment. And guess what it was when I got there? Cavalry. Anyway, the next morning I was grooming my horse. You don't get your breakfast till you've done that work. And this officer come in, he says, "You don't like horses, do you, Finney?" I said, "No, I don't." "Oh, we'll see what I can do about it." Next, and within a week we were down south in tanks.